Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, January 2nd, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy New Year. I hope already you've had a wonderful start to New Year, filled with blessings and wonderful manifestations and rewards and comforts and whatever you would ask for. I'm going to dive right into the topic today. Because as we start this new year, it is so important to set the boundaries for yourself, to be your own best friend. I have seen, since the start of the year, really, I feel like I've been tested, those around me, and I'm going to widen that. Do not assume that it's personal. But I have been tested with the boundaries, being asked to give a little bit more, perhaps work on a day off, that type of thing. And so, the spiritual helper in all of us wants to be available, wants to give a little bit more. But boundaries are so important. I had to accept this weekend that I needed to rest. No matter how much work I had to do, how many intentions I had to start new projects at the start of the year, I had to honor myself. I had to listen to what I needed. I had to put myself as a priority. Now that's not easy for me to do, but it's easier for me to do. How about you? Do you find that you tend to put yourself last and everyone else ahead of you? Now, I have found that often we are taught, and it's not to say you're not a good person, but often we're taught that the more we give, the more we receive, that somehow we deserve it more to receive blessings. But that's not the case. We teach others how to treat us. We show the universe how to treat us. So when we say, put me last, the universe and those around us is naturally will put us last. Doesn't mean that they don't think we're a good person and that they don't appreciate our generosity. We're just training them. We are putting out that energy, and that energy is being honored. You have to take care of yourself. You also have to set up your boundaries, your intentions, your rules, the terms and conditions that you wish to live your life, and how you wish others to honor them. Set today your terms and conditions. What will you allow and what won't you allow? I sometimes get called out for thinking of myself. It's almost given to me as a critique. But what I understand is when someone calls me out for thinking of myself, it's because they don't feel they're worthy to think of themselves. And so they don't want me doing it as well. You see, that is an inside job that anyone around you would have to work on for themselves. And I and you can be the leader. I find that when I do honor myself, even if those around me don't always like it, they will start to honor themselves. They will start to think about what is best for them. They will start to be kinder to themselves, and then by extension to others. So it's so important to not relent when you are challenged, when people try to make you feel bad, especially when people are unkind. And the wonderful part, about a new year, it's almost like the energies of the universe are lined up to show us everything we have to work on for the new year. Everything that can trigger us to heal inside. And I have found that also since the start of this new year. And we're only on the 2nd. About what needs to be healed. About what I call trigger. What is happening, what someone can say, how others can treat me. I find I'm extra sensitive to it right now. And I understand it is because I need to heal that. You see, children will be children, but adults are children too. Every single adult walking around this world has an inner child that in some part was not healed. Do you notice? And I bet you do, because I do. Do you notice that the circumstances, the experiences that you dealt with when you were a child, perhaps when you were a teenager, are still happening today? I remember when I left high school and I did enter college, but I had such a strong desire to even skip any school and go straight into the workforce because I wanted to go and be around adults. I thought it would be different. I thought the child games that would happen, the cliques, the insensitivities would go away when I surrounded myself with adults. How many of you are laughing right now? Then I entered the adult workforce, and it was all there waiting for me. The cliques, the gossip, the insensitivities, all of those things that I thought would be left behind in high school were right there among adults of all ages. Why? Because they were still children at heart. So we can't judge ourselves by how others are treating us. We can't assume that people mean it, that they look down on us because of how they treat us. They're only coming from where they are and what needs to be healed within them. When someone asks more of me than I think is appropriate, I know it's coming from within them, not because they're trying to disrespect me. But I cannot allow them to disrespect me. I must respect myself. You cannot expect others to love you, to respect you, to accept you, to give to you unconditionally, unless you're showing them how to do it, unless it's coming from you first. Even this morning, before I got on this podcast, I was triggered by something. And lightly or so, because I rolled my eyes at it, but I was still triggered. And it was just a reminder to me that what was going on in that particular post had nothing to do with who I am as a person, who anyone around me is as a person. It was really silliness. Adults being children, not realizing their impact. Now, I do not want you to think that someone did a grievous harm against me. It was actually quite small. They probably didn't even think about it at all, truly. it was still a trigger. So it was an alarm system to me of what needs to be healed, what I am still working on. Because like you, and like everyone, I'm an adult with the inner child. The inner child that wants to be accepted, liked, cared for, appreciated. When you're generous, you want to know that you're appreciated. When you give, you want to know you can trust those people that you're giving to be grateful and care, and, what goes around comes around. It's not always the case. It's not always the case. You can open up your doors wide and still not have people be caring when they enter. But that, again, is not about who you are as a person and who I am. It's about them and the wounds that need to be healed within them. I always say in my work, because it's spiritual in my work, that there are no such thing as emergencies, because everything passes. And yes, I will have those that will come to me with the greatest emergency and ask of me to see them immediately, to talk to them in the middle of the night, to just be there a little bit more. And I've learned that there are no such thing as emergencies. Does that mean I ignore them? No. It just means that I determine my boundaries. I determine how much I give and how much I don't. I'm in control. I always come out on the good end of it. Good karma is always on my side. I use my intuition. I decide. I am the master of my universe. Is that how you feel? If you don't feel that way, it is only January 2nd. Start those changes. Determine what you will put up with and what you won't put up with. I have grown in such a way that I say no so easily that it flies out of my mouth sometimes before I even hear it. Will you do that? Would you like this? No. I'll even say that. Sometimes I have to remember to say no, thank you. Because the no is so blunt. If you tell me about something, if you tell me about a trait about myself, and I will think about it for a moment and say agree with it or say no. If someone says to me, you seem angry right now, I'll say no. Unless I am, and then I'll say yes. I'm very honest. And I own it. I don't try to give the correct answer, the politically correct answer, the nice answer. I just cut it right. I just cut it. No, that is not the case. Moving on. Nip it in its bud. I appreciate me in that way, because I wasn't always that way. When someone would say something to me that would maybe perhaps be a bit of an attack, I would take it personally. I would stew on it. I would think they must be correct. Now I answer honestly and I answer quickly. And if it is an attack, I nip it in the bud. Because I am worth more. I am valuable. I am the product of my Creator, as you are. And I'm not going to stand for someone who is putting their wounds on me. I am going to stand up for myself. Do you stand up for yourself? I bet you don't enough. And if you do, well done. But most of the people in this world who are givers, who are considered spiritual, who are generous towards others, who are so kind, often put up with the least of kindness. It's like people think they can beat up on us. We'll take it. But no, we won't. You're not supposed to take it. It boggles my mind sometimes about, well, we're in a world right now where we're coming to understand the power of our words, our thoughts, and our mind. Inherently, each and every one of us knows that what you put out, you get back. That what you proclaim, you get. And yet, we work against ourselves so much. I've learned not to, but many do, and that's what boggles my mind. They think people don't understand the power of words enough. That when you're unkind, that's what comes back to you. That when you speak of poverty, that's what comes back to you. Of what you speak of in an unkind way about yourself will be given back to you. And then you'll be unhappy. You'll think that is a truth, when all it is an answer to what you're putting back. It's a reaction. It's energy. This universe is set up that what you put out, you get back. And yet we don't consciously let ourselves tune into that enough. We seem to think that life is a life of chance and things are random and there's good luck and there's bad luck and some people get more and some people get less, and that's not the case. It's simply not the case. If you walk around believing and feeling abundant, you're going to have abundance. If you walk around believing and feeling scared about poverty, that's what will reverberate back to you. It's not your human fault. I always want to say that, because this isn't a blame game telling you this truth. It's just the truth. You are more powerful than you allow yourself to realize. And so when you set boundaries, when you make the terms and conditions for how you live your life, when you make the rules, and I mean the rules about how others treat you and how you treat yourself, and what you will say yes to and what you will say no to, and anything involved in that, you are creating your life. You create your life on autopilot, by the way, whether you're actively trying to create it or not. But when you have an active, conscious role in the moment of your life, setting those terms, you're going to give yourself better. You'll give yourself the more positive end of your creative life. Yes, we all create on autopilot. Those things that come back to you like cycles over and over and over again. You've created that. And the earth as a whole goes through cycles too, because it comes up again, because it's still there as an energy and it still needs to be healed. Here in the States, we're still trying to heal what happened 160 years ago. It's amazing. If there were more conscious attention to that, perhaps we would make inroads a little bit faster. Oh, we will. Because everything comes up to be healed until it is healed. But it is still there because there's still more work to do. But personally, back to you. What do you most want to ask for? What type of friends do you most want to have? I think the greatest song ever written, potentially, is Let It Go. When people do not treat you the way you wish to be treated, let it go. When people are being unkind, let it go. When someone doesn't see your value and appreciate you, let it go. When you open your doors and windows to someone and then they stab you in the back, let it go. It is not about you. It's about them. There was an instance recently where the person thought they were right to be unkind. They were loud about it. It bothered me for a couple nights. It wasn't even triggered. It wasn't even like focused on me, but it bothered me. It bothered me. And then I realized that moment of that person being so loudly unkind looked bad on them. They thought that they were telling a truth about a person, that they were criticizing them loudly, and they thought they were right. But in that moment, they just looked bad. So then I could only feel compassion for them. It's so easy for us, isn't it, to carry around wounds. I can remember an unkind teacher when I was in high school. She was known for being unkind. But in a moment when I was under her ire, that I held on to for a long time. I've come to more compassion about her. Unhappy people will be unkind to others. Happy people will usually be kind to others, because it's just a more positive, natural flow. Truly, though, I think always happy people are kinder to others, because sometimes people can seem like they're happy, but they're not. They can seem like they have it all, but they don't. Not within their own mind and heart. So even I, who know better, still let someone's words hurt me for 2 nights because they were unkind to someone. But then, as I said, an aha came. It was almost like a divine messenger said, that moment, they looked bad. Yes, you're right. They did. I hope whatever's in them that needs to be healed will be healed. It's not my role. My role is to let it go and to keep being kind and to be accepting that they very well may be like that. And the only thing I can do about it is keep being kind, keep accepting. And I don't mean accepting of I'm going to let someone talk to me a certain way. I mean accepting in they're probably going to be like that again. And it is not my role to change them. My role is to be kind and to let it go. adults with an inner child that was harmed, whether through perception or abandonment or unkind words. A bully was bullied. Most of the time, an abuser was abused, if not all the time. Our job is to take care of ourselves, to set our boundaries, to decide who will we have around us and who won't we. When will we let it go without saying a word, and when will we speak up for ourselves? Sometimes it's better just to let the words drop and not carry them forward, meaning not say anything. Just let them drop and move forward. It is so important this coming year to spend time with those who support you, who appreciate you, who care about you, and leave the nonsense outside. Leave it outside of your bubble, your walls. You are that important. You matter that much. You are more than enough. We have all had perceptions. Perceptions based on looking from the outside and from our own stories. Those perceptions are never correct because they don't have all the information. I have the ability to understand that how someone treats people is about what's going on within themselves and probably has to do with unhealed wounds. But I'm still not living their story. I'm not first person. But I am grateful I can come from a place of understanding that. And for me, it means not holding a grudge, not holding on to something more than a day or two. Understanding that moment wasn't about me or anyone else at all, but about that particular person that decided to be unkind or ask for more or be thoughtless. I think all of us in our lives have had moments where perhaps we were a bit thoughtless. But most of us also will grab it up and move away from it. It won't be who we are. It doesn't define us. We're all allowed to be human. We're all allowed to have moments. But once again, setting your boundaries and your terms and conditions will mean that those who have moments don't have the power, don't have control. You can be kind and compassionate and sympathetic, but still be in control. Who is mistreating you right now? Brush it off. Back it up. Let it go. You see, the more you bounce around this world without holding on to others' heaviness, the greater your rewards will be. In every way, abundantly better. Those who walk around with a lightness of being will receive more. You'll have room to receive more. Don't get caught up in others' acceptance of you, or why they got the job and you didn't, why they get a raise and you don't. Have you given yourself a raise? How are you treating yourself? The more you stand up for yourself in every way, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, with love, the greater others will reward you. They won't even understand why they want to do it. It's so important for you to understand. We should all have compassion towards each other, caring, thoughtfulness. It can be done without sacrifice, without settling, without going into a lower energy. It can be done. I encourage you to sit down today and think about your boundaries, your terms and conditions, what you will put up with and what you won't. I want you also to think about what you want to have in your life, because if you ask for it, it's yours. And then allow yourself to have it. You are good enough to have it. You are allowed to be blessed. This can be a wonderful year for you and for all of us. There is at this time of year, people often make predictions about the year. But predictions are only if your mindsets and your words and your thoughts stay in place. You can always change them. Go for it. Go for the gold. Go for the best. Go for your ideal life. Take a chance. Even if it is smaller at first and larger later, in some way, you are worth it. And you have the power to do it. So why not use the power? And also remember that if you do have people around you that are a challenge, they just don't often understand their impact. And that maybe they should change. And we shouldn't want them to. We should only hope that those around us will heal and be happy and have all the blessings that we would want for ourselves. But remember, you set the boundaries. I am happy for you that you can do that. I am excited for what can occur. I hope your journey is exciting, positive, and filled with all kinds of blessings and rewards. Let's do it at the start of this new year. Let's hit the ground running. And if you need rest, take it. And if tomorrow you want to step into a new change in your life, do it. Even if you just think about it, it puts energy out there. But yes, eventually inspired action has to happen. Set your terms. How you will live your life. And don't waver. Because you will be tested. Others will try to make you waver. They will try to throw you off track. If it happens, just get right back on. Remember, you are worth it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new, by the way, welcome. Please be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com. I'm also on Facebook under Spirit Teacher, Lisa Hop. If you are getting this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you ever have any questions about my services, please feel free to email me at serenityharbor@verizon.net. Look for some additional tools coming out shortly, such as affirmation audios to help you on your journey. And as always, I am very grateful for the feedback, the support I get, and for all of you who listen. I appreciate you more than you know. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, and have a wonderful and safe and blessed week.